is Chris Killer. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. We're almost 300 subscribers now. So keep sharing so that we increase the number. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and dive into the tutorial of today. And this is a song done by Secret Max and it's called Confusion. So I'm just going to do a quick review on how I mixed the song, because I noticed some of you were asking me questions on how I did certain things in the song. The song is available on Spotify and other links that I'll include in the description down below this video. So let me just do a quick play of how it was sounding. This is without mastering and everything, so keep that in mind. So I'll go ahead and play it.
I thought you are the one. I'll spend the rest of my life seeing and touching no times, kissing and cuddling no mind. Now I did you just to be rude, hitting me, calling me, then top of you. Leave the long I'm busy, just chasing love, chasing love. Did you just to be rude, hitting me, calling me, then top of you. Leave the long I'm busy, just chasing love, chasing love. I'm down now. I think I made a mistake. To fit in, we let it mama.
So without playing it much, if you want to listen to the whole song, you have to click the link that I've provided. Otherwise, let's dive into what I did to the vocal channel, as in how I mix it. So let me get this section.
I never knew you were going to be the worst, experiencing my way. Yeah, you are the one.
The only things that I used in this channel was EQ and compression and pitching and noise gate. Obviously, if you followed my videos, I always put the noise gate first. So how you arrange your effects matters actually. So if you arrange them wrongly, you won't get the sound that you're looking for. So keep in mind, like I've always said, these effects like flanger, more mono delay, and auto-tune are really not necessary, and I would say this as well. So I only use the main things that you have to have are these three main. So in terms of vocals, you only need auto-tune if your vocals are not well pitched, or rather they have some areas where the vocals are going off key. So this is the only time you need the auto-tune here. So as you can see, for this project, I use about 7 on the retune speed, and everything was put on the maximum. Everything here was reduced, and I use low male and 100 here. I always do that mostly on vocals. And yeah, so my compressor levels are these. So let me just play that without the beat.
I never knew you were going to be the way.
So as you can tell, you're able to hear some reverb and some delay. So let me just switch off the effects in my bass track, and let me play that alone.
I never knew you were going to be the worst, experience my way. Yeah.
So as you can tell, there is a lot of tuning there. So I went for this type of effect, not that you have to do this. So I just went for this type of effect because I found it to be, I liked it rather. So the only thing I did here was the EQ, and keep in mind that I have to confirm, but for now I would say the EQ works before everything else here. If I'm mistaken on that, please correct me down in the description. Otherwise, the EQ here, imagine you have to imagine it being before this noise gate. So what you're getting is the the cleaning here where I had to cut off row of 200 and cut a little bit of 380 around this area, which was negative 3 dB. I had to cut it off there, and about 5,180 hertz of about negative 6 dBs, because I don't usually cut this much, but I just found the vocal to be very sharp towards this area. I was getting a lot of sibilance towards this area, so I had to cut them off. So let me just bypass this.
I never knew you were going to be the best, experiencing my way.
So, okay, sorry for the clipping. Let me just
Yeah, yeah, you are the one to
so let me cut that off.
yeah, yeah, you are the one who told everything that I saw.
Okay, so then after doing all that, so this is cleaning, basically cutting off the frequency that I didn't like. Then because of excess sibilance that was brought in after I boosted in my bass, I had to include another de-esser there. So you don't usually need to do, you only need one de-esser mostly, but in this case I used this, and then a bit of flanger, and that's the amount. And lastly, I used the Renaissance Vox plugin. So I added some negative 10 dB of compression and negative 3 of gain. So if you want rather, you can bring that down. It's still the same, but yeah. So if you need to get, I didn't use this because I already have a noise gate there. So yeah, you don't always need to use this, but in my case, I tend to use it mostly because I'm still working on my acoustics in my room, where are not all that well done yet. So so these are the only plugins that were controlling the vocal in the main Vox channel. So that's the delay there. And then for those that want to see my best channel, it's yeah, you know, there are a lot of plugins in here, but like I always say, you don't really need to use all these plugins. I only added these plugins because that's the effect I wanted. So in short, I didn't really have to use these plugins, and inclusive of this, it's not a must that I had to use this. Just like I didn't have to use this, but I really needed this. This was like a must. I really had to. So all these are basically just for flavor and how I want to shape the sound, and not really that you really have to use them all the time. No. So let me play these plugins without those that I've muted. So this is basically just an EQ. So I just wanted to boost some, add some. I thought the vocal needed some presence, so I added some presence right about 1000K somewhere there, and then. But basically, without explaining too much, you can just see the settings. But I usually use the male vocal preset. I usually use it, and maybe I just play around the low area, which is here. I usually bring this on 2 dBs or 3 dBs of gain, and in short, this area is this. So yeah, and this is that. So that's about 3.5 dB that we're working with. As you can tell, the vocal has more presence and it's much clearer and everything. So that's what that EQ does together with this EQ. So I wrote off some 130 dB just to cut off some bass that was added on after adding all this plugin. Because remember, whenever you are adding compression or boosting a vocal, you are as well boosting any possible presence of lows in your bass. So whatever was left there was boosted by that by a certain amount, which I again had to cut off because I don't really need that low. So this is the only thing this is doing, but in this case I didn't have to cut a lot. So I cut off again this same area, this similar area, which is 400, to cut off some I don't know what I can say, some nosy type of area where your vocal sounds as if you're speaking from your nose and everything. Boxiness, in short. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot that word, but anyway, yeah. So this is where you cut off some boxiness in your vocal. I usually work around this figure, -4 and -3 dB is usually good for me. As you notice here, I was around 380. So similar things that I'm doing on the lows and mids. And I had to cut off again this area because, like I said, whenever you're boosting something, you're bringing back some levels of lows or treble in your vocals that you recently cut off. So, and then later I just added some 1 dB of presence there. So that's about it on the EQ. And like I said, this, you should imagine this to be here in my theory, basically. I'm not sure, but in my theory, that's how I see this to be. And so, yeah. Or another way, okay, anyway, you get the point. So let me just move forward. So all what this was doing was bring back some volume. You don't always need to do this, but in my method, for those that have been following me, I use this most often to just make sure that the vocal comes up to a level where it's more present in the beat. It stands out in the beat. So yeah. So let me just bypass that. So that you're able to tell the difference. So as you can tell, we brought in some nice presence as well as some lows. Hence, with the help of this, they are a bit controlled. Imagine if this wasn't on. So this is why I usually do that for. So I added another silo A3A. That was 2A and this is 3A. And these are settings I use. So this just came in to control the vocal to make sure that it's not too loud. This is maintained within an acceptable range using this peak reduction and reducing a bit of gain. Usually when you turn this on, it's usually about 5.5 gain. So I reduced that and I reduced this side again. I increased the reduction to 6. So that's about it on the compression and the gaining part. So the only thing here present, of course, is I had to send the vocal to a doubler. And this doubler is in here. Let me just show you the chain. I don't usually do this, but in this case, I found it to give the vocal a certain nice sound that I like. Only on this project, of course. So on the flanger, I added some 20 mix there, doubler. Those are the settings that I used. So if you want the preset, let me know in the description. So anyway, without it, let me just bypass that. Like I said, you don't really need that, but in my case, I thought it made a difference. So yeah, then let's go to this plugin. So this is where I usually put my reverbs and everything. So basically, this is all that I used. Like I said, this is just a review, so I'll make a longer video because like as you can tell, it's clipping. So I'll try to make sure that it's not clipping next time. Otherwise, I'll play the song, the mastered song. And if you want to check out the full song, you can check out the link below stream and tell me what you think. Otherwise, hope you liked the tutorial. For any other questions on the song after listening to it, let me know so that I can make a further tutorial on it. Otherwise, thank you for watching and see you next time.